is best known for his bold, vibrant works that blend Filipino heritage with contemporary flair. So if you would, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Francis Nacion. Francis, welcome. I have to say, Francis, we are so very thrilled with this collaboration, and I'm sure everyone here is very excited to finally see the masterpiece that you have created underneath this cover here. Pero bago yun, of course, before we reveal your work, pagpintuan muna tayo, di ba? Let's talk a little bit about your inspiration. Ano ba ang inspirasyon mo dito sa Open Master?
Ito kasi ang inspirasyon ko, pamilya talaga.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi kilala tayo mga Pilipino na mapagmahal talaga sa pamilya. Diba? Close family ties talaga sa Pilsen.
Tsaka hindi nawawala yung San Miguel Pilsen sa kahit na salo-salo ng pamilya. Every significant celebration has always featured San Miguel Pilsen. It's almost like an old friend, or in fact, a member of the family.
Parang pamilya na po yun.
Pamilya na mismo, hindi kumpleto ang any kind of family get-together or celebration without San Miguel Pilsen marking this occasion. So, ito medyo pahihirapan kita ng konti. Okay, we clearly captured the brand's legacy in this painting. Medyo nag-sneak peek na ako. Nakita ko na at napakaganda ng painting na ito, Francis. But if you have to describe your own connection to San Miguel Pilsen in one word, one word, what would that be? Ano ba yung salitang yun?
Sa akin nga, tulad din sila ko, pamilya talaga yung sa
Family. Family mismo.
Oo, kasi namulat na ako na kasama na talaga sa kultura natin. Kasi sinabi ko nga, ito ko ito at paborito talaga ito ng lolo ko. Kaya yun talaga naging inspirasyon ko dyan sa heritage na.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Family is the most apt word. Thank you so much, Francis. Well, let's not keep our audience waiting. Ito na. At this point, I'd like to invite on stage someone who has been instrumental in leading San Miguel Brewery into its next chapter. So please welcome the president of San Miguel Brewery Incorporated, Mr. Carlos Antonio M. Berba. We're going to move to this side over here. Sir Carlos, there's so much excitement in the room for what we're about to unveil, and I believe that this is the moment that we have been waiting for. Sir Carlos and Francis, if you would do the honors, please. You are now witnessing a visual tribute, a work of art that tells the story of a brand that has shaped celebrations for 135 years and counting. A round of applause, please, for this beautiful masterpiece. Now we'd like to hear more. One month? Is that typical of the kind of work that you do, o medyo talagang ginanahan ka ng extra dito?
Medyo ginanahan, siyempre. Collaboration with San Miguel.
Absolutely.
Di ba? Kung naman hindi ka ganahan.
Okay, babalikan natin though. We're going to be talking a little bit more about this. Francis, and if you will, I think we are about ready to welcome on stage. If you would, we'd like to hear now more.
Its presence of our guest, his name is Captain is referring to Constantine. I don't know if King has come back. And of course our other colleagues from SMBIL, our valued trade partners, friends from media, good afternoon. Now first of all, not to overextend, I'd really like to thank our honored guest artist, Francis Nacion, for the impressive piece of art that he has painted for us. A collaboration with San Miguel Beer that truly highlights the heritage of San Miguel Beer in a setting and rendition truly reflective of the style of Francis Nacion. Thank you, Francis, for the masterpiece. Now, 2025 marks the celebration of San Miguel Beer's 135th year. And for 135 years, San Miguel Beer has sustained the distinction of being one of the most lasting cultural icons of the Philippines. As such, in the past years, we have also been a favorite subject of many artists, including national artist Ben Cam, Dean Jose Hoya, and cartoonist Lani Alcala. These masterpieces depict how ingrained San Miguel Beer is in the core values of the Filipinos. The values of friendship, family, camaraderie, and our zest for celebration. Now, 135 years is a long way back. And it never ceases to amaze me when I think about the history and heritage of our San Miguel Beer. And I really, and from the people that work with me, I really love talking about the history of our beer and our company. Imagine 1890. Aba, buhay pa si Jose Rizal. Malamang na-imbita siya nung inauguration ng San Miguel, October 4, 1890. Kasi ginover ko 1892 siya nakunin. Alta syudad yun. Malamang imbitado yun. O kaya, nung nag-Independence Proclamation Party sila, Aguinaldo, noong 1898, malamang kasama sa handaan ang San Miguel Beer. Malamang kahit sa labas ng party, whether makabebe ka o revolutionary, umiinom ka rin ang San Miguel Beer. So if you really think about it, globally, what was 1890 then? You know, the comforts we're used to, TV, radio, wheelchair, plano, wala natin. Even some of the technologies, diesel engine, mga x-ray, wala ka nun. Dami kong ginugol. Hindi ka rin-invento yun. Kahit zipper, wala pa. 1891 na-invento ang zipper. At least may weekend trivia. Ang Pilipinas, wala pang kuryente nun. Pero, may San Miguel Beer na tayo. Alam mo mga Pilipino, ngayon lalo na, kahit naman anong generation, may Gen Z, millennial, pero actually natin, ang hilig natin bumiyahe. Siyempre kasama pag-selfie, biyahe. Pero ang San Miguel Beer, maaga naging biyahe. And just some trivia, some you saw on the video, some I will add on. Can you imagine, 1913, nag-export na, bumiyahe na to Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Guam. What's not in the video is in 1937, San Miguel actually invested in 2 breweries in the United States of America, George Muhlbach Brewery and Monsar Brewery. Although it was divested, San Miguel in the 1930s was produced and sold in the US. But we divested before the war. In 1948, which was seen here, we set up our brewery operations in Hong Kong 77 years ago. And actually, of course, it's still operational. We still have good market share in Hong Kong. And if you ask many of the old-timers in Hong Kong, many of them will tell you San Miguel is a Hong Kong brand. Pag sinabi mo from the Philippines, some of the older generation will argue with you. Hindi, Hong Kong brand yan. Although there, they call it San Miguel, which is the Cantonese characters for San Miguel. Another trivia, in 1957, we set up the first of 3 breweries in Spain. Ito yung sa Miguel, di isa lang. May US, may Spain. And although it was already divested, it still is one of the leading beers in Spain and in the UK. And similar to the people of Hong Kong, makikipag-away sa iyo mga Espanyol na it is a Spanish beer. And it is so hard to convince them that it actually started in the Philippines. And it is true, I have visited the Larino Brewery, and you will see the design, the equipment, parehong-pareho ng mga breweries sa Pilipinas. I have even met some of their older brewmasters, and they told me they trained in Aviles, which is our first brewery in Manila. Now, just to give you a flavor, when sinabi ang biyahero, did you know that the first brewery of Heineken was not until 1955 in Suriname, outside Netherlands? The first brewery of Carlsberg outside Denmark was not until 1966 in Cyprus. So if you look at those facts, kaya sa ko tuwa ko when I look at the heritage of these are two brands that none of us will say and dispute are global and world-renowned. And yet, naunahan ni San Miguel Beer, naunahan ni Pilsen. And not by a few years, by decades. Now, in starting 1990, then we expanded further, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. We even have San Miguel producing Nepal, care of Carlsberg under licensing. And yes, yung nakita yung mapa na may naka-schemas, that's on the tip of Mount Everest when we sponsored that expedition. And yes, San Miguel beer is sold at the base camp of Mount Everest. And now, together with our export and creations, we are in over 70 countries worldwide. And notable for exports are our two biggest markets, United Arab Emirates and South Korea. On the Philippine front, to date, we have 7 breweries covering every corner of the 7,000 islands. So can you imagine the breadth and scope of operation? In terms of the products, trivia, make a birthday actually si Pilsen. Nung nilaunch si Pilsen na 1890, may kasabay siya, may kapatid siya. Kaso mas naging sikat si Pilsen, yung kapatid niya. Nandiyan pa. We actually also launched in 1890, together with Pilsen, Cerveza Negra. Cerveza Negra. And it started also 135 years ago. And from 2 brands, the company has grown and expanded its portfolio to now have Sunny Lime, flavored beer, lychee, apple, lemon, Red Horse, Gold Eagle, even yung Red Horse, meron na tayong Red Horse Super, ayaw ko kung narinig nyo na yun, o natikman, the 10% alcohol Red Horse. Tingin ko kaya ni Francis yun. And we have also adapted with the times with the no or low alcohol. We have San Miguel Free, we have San Miguel Zero, na pang-isip up at gusto niya pinagin. And on the premium side, we are now also developing premium beers and specialty beers. We have, of course, the premium Boma, brewed in the German tradition. We have the Super Dry. The Super Dry is actually what they call a hoppy lager. We use aromatic hops. And we have, I don't know if you tasted the Cerveza Blanca, our wheat beer, and our Cerveza Negra, our dark lager, which is made from roasted malt. And just a few months ago, we launched the first of a series of limited edition beers, our chocolate lager. For those hindi pa natitikman yun, we will give you samples of Cerveza Blanca, Negra, and chocolate lager at the end of the event. Now, in addition to these foreign brands, we also have these. We have some foreign brands, Blue Ice Beer in Hong Kong, Anchor in Indonesia, Travel in China. But really, for SMB, it's not simply brewing a lot of different beers, but producing high quality and award-worthy beers. And through the years, the company has garnered more than 400 international awards. We are the most awarded Filipino beer. And I will not be surprised if we are probably the most awarded Filipino brand. Now, these are just some major highlights that brings us where we are today. The we will move forward and be bigger. And with the leadership of our SNC CEO, Mr. Ang, we will move the future with more motivation and achieve greater heights. Our strength as a company lies in our ability to transform, innovate, and engage. And as we move forward to future-proof SMB, we will achieve our goals. SMB stands as a symbol of resilience, camaraderie, and Filipino pride. The truly global Filipino beer company and Filipino beer that we are all proud of. At this point, allow me to present our iconic San Miguel Pale Pilsen limited edition can, commemorating our heritage, and of course the masterpiece of our guest artist, Francis Nacion.